Hello, welcome to a fresh episode of Oma Living Show. On this episode, we're going to be talking about something that disturbs everyone, but we do not know that it's a big disturbance to us. We're going to be talking about fake it till you make it. I once had a boss who that was his favorite slogan. He would say to me, Oma, fake it till you make it. And I always had a problem with that. And one day I tried to resolve it with him because he's someone who's well traveled. He wasn't always resident in Nigeria. He came all the way from Canada to reside in Nigeria. And I felt he was living a lie. I just felt he was doing a lot of things that were inappropriate and would affect the company in the long run. So I called him and I said to him, Sir, I don't think we should be doing this. I don't think we should be doing that. He told me, come on, keep quiet. What do you know? Fake it till you make it. Welcome once again, and my name is MARILYN Oma Anonana. I'll be right back. Welcome back. The topic is packaging versus keeping it real. What is the downside of packaging? What is packaging? Packaging simply means trying to give a false impression about something, trying to tackle something just on the surface. It's more like I'm going for an interview and I'm just concerned about my looks. Meanwhile, I do not have the content such that when I am asked, maybe I'm going for an interview as a veterinary doctor, and when I am asked about the basic drugs that a pet animal should take when they have fever, I'm not able to answer that. But before going for the interview, I concentrated on applying my makeup, wearing my lab coat, and maybe carrying one or two equipments, but I don't know the basics of what I am going for. What is packaging? Daily on the social media, I see lots of young people. They seem to be more about how people perceive them. They want to give the impression of I am doing well. They want to give the impression of I am this, going about with all sorts of titles. At the end of the day, you try to engage them and you find out to your dismay that they are totally blank. Packaging, what is the downside? I want to bring it down to having to, Nigeria, we're very religious, right? So having to bring it down to helper. Like our pastors always say in church, you're going to meet your destined helper, you're going to meet your destiny helper, whatever that means. Okay, let's imagine that you're someone who has never been employed, you've never worked for a day, and you just need money for upkeep. You need to start to make a living, and then every day you go about borrowing stuff, you go about buying stuff on credit just to appear rich on the social media. You don't even on any account make a caption saying I need a job. You're giving the impression that you're okay. Your location states Lekki, meanwhile you live in Bagada, or your location states Wuse, meanwhile you live in Mpape. That is packaging. I know that I'm not asking everyone to go about with hunger written on their forehead, but what I'm trying to say on this episode is that whatever way you want people to perceive you as, make sure that it all adds up so that you don't go about packaging to your own detriment. I always tell people something, which is a topic we're going to discuss pretty soon on this show, that the social media as it is today is a CV, is a sort of resume to every one of us. So whatever perception you are creating, whatever impression you are creating, just know that someone is somewhere watching you. Let's take for instance, if I know people looking for a job, there are certain people that I look out for on the social media. I won't look out for you if I feel that you are all right. These are some of the downsides of packaging. If you claim to be an entrepreneur and there is virtually nothing to show for the thing which you claim to be doing, that is packaging, and it is detrimental to you. Packaging can only make sense if you have something to show for it. So on this episode, I have a great and marvelous guest who would help me to do great justice to this topic. His name is Lucas Bello, and we'll be right back after the break. Hello, so welcome back. Before the break, I was talking about packaging versus keeping it real, the downside of packaging and all its effects. Wow. I also talked about my guest, who is someone that I'm always in awe of because of his high level of energy, ambition, and everything he's been able to do in a couple of years. He's a wonderful young man that goes by the name Lucas Bello. So, nice to have you on the show.
Nice to have you, Oma. It's always a pleasure.
You look splendid. You look awesome.
You look beautiful yourself.
Thank you.
Look amazing. Every other time.
Lucas,
yes,
you're almost a household name in Nigeria, and you're a household name in Abuja, where we are based.
Yeah.
But for the sake of those who do not know you, who is Lucas Bello?
Okay, so Lucas Bello is an entrepreneur par excellence. In fact, a serial entrepreneur. That's what I call myself.
Okay.
A serial entrepreneur because we've been able to start up businesses, sustain these businesses, and turn them to great businesses. So I own a clothing line. First and foremost, I'm in the fashion business. It's called El Jago Couture. I also own a corporate branding firm where we do corporate branding. I own an event management firm as well. I'm just most recently a construction company. Yes, so that's a rundown of who I am.
Okay, that's splendid. You made mention of sustain, and that's a vital part of entrepreneurship, right? So you started, out of the various things you listed now, fashion, branding, events, and construction.
Yes,
which was your first?
The clothing line was my first one.
And how many years did you invest into the clothing line before you ventured into the rest?
Well, first and foremost, I think I should give you a background history of myself.
Okay.
So I started from the bank.
Okay.
As a banker, I moved to MTN Nigeria.
Oh.
All right, yes. So I worked in MTN for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
And then I started the clothing line.
Okay.
Now, but the thing is this, right? In MTN, I was already doing, clothing here and there. I had my celebrity friends, the likes of Uti, Alexa Kubo. They would actually come to the office, and then would make them one or two things and all. So that's how it started. In 6 months, I noticed that I was making much more than I was making in MTN from clothing.
Are you for real?
And then I thought, you know what, it was time to resign. I resigned 9 months after. So, plus minus, I've been doing fashion for like 5 years, and then it took me like 3 years after starting the clothing line to venture into other ventures that I have now.
Okay, so from what you said,
yes,
from what you just said, it's clear that fashion has always been your passion, even
yes.
while you were an employed staff of MTN, the bank, and all that stuff.
The thing is this, right? I think looking good is good business.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then that's what I do. I love to look good, and because I love to look good, I'd have people say, okay, you know what? So I want to go for this party. I want to go for this wedding. What colors would actually blend?
Yeah.
How can we,
So people used to consult you for.
So I had friends who, I wouldn't call it consultation at that point.
Okay.
It was just friendly advice, and they'll rock it and they'll look good. So I thought, you know what? Why don't you turn this skill into a making money venture? And then that's what happened.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now you do fashion. Of course, I know you've clothed a lot of celebrities, award winners, and one of those AMVCA one of the winner,
yes.
Daniel K. Daniel. So
DKD,
it was.
yes.
Was that a turning point for you?
It was incredible because I was at Daniel's room, he was in Abuja shooting, and we're really excited because we served together, we did NYC together.
Oh, okay.
Before, yes.
In Abuja.
Yes.
Okay.
So many years ago, and then so we're talking, and he was like, I just got nominated. I'm like, you know what, I'm making you this suit, and then it took us like a week, and the suit was ready, and I delivered, and I was like, man, guy, what if I win this wearing this? And I'm like, you know what? You're going to win it.
Wow.
And then we're talking, of course, we were not sure.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. So he won it, and he said, I'm wearing El Jago, on the red carpet and all that. And, till even yesterday, someone who came to advise us said, oh, that AMVCA suit, that DKD.
So there's always a reference point.
There is a reference point.
Wow.
So yes, I could say it was a turning point.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously you have lots of strengths. Because it's not easy for one to be a serial entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
And I like to correct people oftentimes because they tend to call it jack of all trade, which I think is detrimental.
Yes.
A jack of all trade is someone who lacks focus and who is just all over the place doing all sorts of things.
Picking anything, a jack of all trade in my own opinion.
Definition, yeah.
Would actually be someone who hears this person is doing this and jumps
into
and this
it.
Person, so you haven't sat down to
analyze,
have a questionnaire, have a souvenir, where you could actually say, okay, you know what, after statistics, I've been able to ascertain for a fact that this business is profitable or not. So people just jump in for whatever business I'm into or whatever venture. I sit down and ask myself relevant questions. How to do relevant research. Because if you do not research, you do not know. And a man that is not informed
You
is
just
deformed.
dabble into
Oh, yeah.
something just like that. So I was going to ask,
Yes,
it's very clear that you have strengths. So what are your outstanding strengths as an entrepreneur, and as a person?
Well, I never take no for an answer.
Okay.
Oh, and I never take no for an answer. And, you know, if you're out there, never take no for an answer. Most times, you know, I tell people, when you knock on that door and they don't open it, instead of breaking it down, give yourself a couple of years. Go back and buy the whole building.
Yeah, awesome.
And that's it. Because the truth is, until, you know, no stops being, you know, an adjective, a verb, a word in your dictionary, you cannot make it. So you have to persevere, you have to push, you have to, and then you're going to get those no's. But the question
course,
is,
when
when you get the no's, how do you go about it? Do you say, well, you know what Toko said, so there's a no.
I'm not too good.
Yes.
They say good no to
you know,
me.
and all of that. So you have to persevere, you have to push, you have to, of course, there's a place of God. There's a place of God, there's a place of faith, there's a place of prayers, you know, but there's a place of walking out your prayers. You know, my pastor will say, when you've prayed, go out and answer your prayers.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and know whatnot.
All right.
Yes,
so my next question would be on your role models or
Okay.
your mentors. We
Yes.
all know the place of role models and mentors in the course of our, you know, pursuit for success.
Yes.
Sometimes you're not even deliberate in choosing them. It might just be a TV show. It
Yeah.
might just be some book. You might not know them physically,
Yeah.
but something that has helped to inspire you. Who would that person be?
Now, my role model and mentor is a man. His name is Dr. David Obwele.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes, he is one man that, you know, I listen to a whole lot. And the truth is this, right? Repetition is the mother of lasting impression. The more you hear, the more you become. You know, so I've listened to him so much so that, you know, he is a realist by excellence.
Yeah.
He tells you the way it is. He gives you the keys that you really, really need to work out in trying to become a better person. In entrepreneurship, spiritually, physically, and otherwise. So he's someone that fits into where I'm going to.
So you took a lot of time on the studying
Oh,
him,
yeah,
and
on the
you're
study.
always on him.
I am always.
Wow,
always on him.
amazing.
I chew his books, his DVDs, his CDs, you know.
Amazing. So the topic for today's episode is
Yes.
packaging versus keeping it real.
Okay.
We all know what it is. I mean, growing up, starting to work, I once had a boss that always, it was his slogan. Once he comes to work, he would say, fake it till you make it. So I'm all about positive values. And
yeah.
I seem to have a problem with faking it to make it. Because I think most people tend to not be able to differentiate where to stop faking it and actually start working. So from your own point of view,
Yes.
what do you think about packaging?
Well, I think that's the biggest problem with the Nigerian youth today, first and foremost. Like in Abuja, you know, Abuja is a city full of people who package. So there is packaging without content.
Exactly.
All right, and then
I was going to come to that.
so I have a problem with that. So people just say stuff. People just, you know, everyone is trying to wear
buzz.
wear expensive stuff, drive something expensive. You know, there are a lot of people in this city who drive Range Rover Sports, and they don't even have houses. They have their bags and their clothes in their boot. A lot of people live in you know, villages that, you know, that we cannot even pronounce their names. So the thing is this, right? They feel if I wear good clothes, I drive a good car, I'm able to get
To a certain,
to a certain
class
level,
of people.
right? But the point is this: it's not in what you drive. Class is inbuilt. Yeah, it's not by what
I'll
you
have
drive.
to clap for that
Oh yeah,
one.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right. So packaging to you is bad,
Which
especially
is-
when you lack the content.
Yes.
Now, would you have words of advice to youths out there who are obviously carried away by packaging? I was telling someone the other day. Okay, she came to me. She doesn't have followers on Instagram. She wants people to perceive her as this, as that. I said, okay. First of all, I went to her Instagram. It says TV host. I said, which show are you hosting? You want people to follow
Very
you
good
for
question.
what exactly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? So I would like you to give a word of advice, or 2 words of advice, or 100 words of advice to the youth out there who are already carried away by the packaging norm.
Listen, right? So I'm going to say something. social media is a scam, right? Nobody posts their failures on social media. Everyone is lit. Everyone is
successful.
everyone is top notch. Everyone is. But the point is this, right? Until you understand that there are people who are broke, depressed, people who are tired, sick and tired of living this life, you would keep, believing that they are better than you. And then when you start to believe that they are better than you start to act unconsciously like they are better than you. And when that mindset mixes up with your inferiority complex, it's damaging.
Yeah.
So the point is this, people out there, do you never be under pressure by anyone, by society, by social media. There are people who had to go to where there's Wi-Fi to post that picture. They don't have MB.
Of course, yeah.
They don't
Some people
have
even
money.
go to the extent of coming. Sorry,
Yes.
I don't have to say this, but
Yes.
I have some friends. It has happened twice. Oma, please, can I come to your house? I want to take some photos. Like, you want to come to my house to pose in my compound
Yes.
and take some photos.
Yeah.
And then you're putting Wuse meanwhile you live in Mbappe.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. And I tell them, no. Your helper could be somewhere looking.
By the way,
You do not have. You're hungry, and he's seeing you like some sort of.
do you know? I'm
Like you said,
going to
it's
say
damaging.
something to you, right? Something happened to me. So I saw this guy, all decked up in suit, sweater. Now it was very hot, but he's wearing a sweater, he's wearing a bow tie. He was looking good. And and he came to me and he was like, man, you know what, man, guy, I know home money now. Papa, what's up? Can I get money? And the point is this, right? I could have, I had 5K to spare.
Yeah.
But I looked at him and then I felt that, this guy's, he wouldn't
not
need
adding up.
5K.
Yeah.
But can I say something to you? Before he left, because I was like, man, I no get. No vex, I don't want that. So he moved to because it was on the street actually. He moved to the next person. I'm like, but even if that's 5H, that's 500. So I'm like, so you see what packaging
Doors.
had cost? I was his helper. 5,000 would have gone. 5,000 to what he wanted was
10 times more.
10 times more. I could part with that, but because of his packaging,
You felt like it was too
know,
low.
yeah,
Meanwhile, he needed even lower.
Oh yeah.
So you've heard it from Lucas Bello.
Yes, please.
Packaging is detrimental to
Oh, it
your
is.
well-being,
Terrible.
mentally, physically, socially. I mean, you might be packaging and the next person around you is the one who's supposed to help you, but then you're perceived like some mayor's daughter or some big CEO or like that. So my word to all of you out there is to quit packaging. So before we round up with
Yes,
you,
please.
Lucas, where do you see the El Jago, the construction, the event and branding company in 5 years?
The truth is, in 5 years, I think all of you, including myself, would actually see where it's going to go. It's going to be incredible. There's so much we have to offer. There's so much we're doing. There's so much research. I'm doing research like a crazy man. I'm doing courses in Nigeria and abroad. All to become a certified professional in everything that I'm doing, because you have half-baked professionals coming to tell you stuff. No, so I can package it and give you all you think, but I'd rather go to the next level by not packaging it, but bringing that thing raw, the raw experience, the raw, so when questions are thrown at me, I look at you and I say, you know what, these are the answers, with facts and with figures, not just with packaging. and all that.
So in 5 years, in a nutshell, the brand is going to be...
In five years, we're going to take over the world.
Wow, that's great.
Literally.
Okay, so El Jago, how do these people need you? I know some of my viewers would want to. Oh, he made clothes for DKD.
Yeah.
I want him to make for me. So how do they reach you?
Oh yeah, so please follow us on our Instagram page. It's called @El Jago Couture. It's ELJARGO COUTURE. That's El Jago Couture. Then you can follow us on Lucas Jago Brand Pro. So it's LJ_Brand Pro. That's Brand Professionals. Now the name of the company is Lucas Jago Nigerian Limited.
Okay.
So the breakdown is Lucas Jago Brand Professional. It's a company of his own. El Jago Couture, Lucas Jago Construction, and Lucas Jago Event Managers. And we're all on Instagram. And if you want to follow my personal page, it's CEO El Jago. CEO ELJARRGO. Yes,
all right. It was nice having you on
Thank
the
you
show.
so much.
Thank you
It
so
really
much.
was as well.
Wow, that was a great one from our special guest. He had a lot to say, but for the sake of time, we just had to keep it brief. Now, I was able to find out the major difference between jack of all trades and serial entrepreneur. They are not the same thing. A jack of all trade basically has no direction. He sees Tochi carrying the camera about today and just decides that carrying camera about is good and it gives lots of money. He sees Oma doing talk show and delves into talk show just because I'm doing it. But a serial entrepreneur is one with multiple strengths who has decided that I'm not just going to be stuck with doing one thing. And then we talked about packaging and its downsides. Summary, bottom line is simply saying stop the packaging and concentrate on building worthy contents, because in the long run that is what will keep you and that is what will endear people to you. It's been a great time on this episode and I remain MARILYN Oma Anona saying keep watching on my living show. I love you all. Mwah.